Hey, so in today's video, I'd like to talk to you about how we can never really escape problems. Never, never, never escape problems. Not at any point in our lives. Which is a funny thing to say, right? Because it sounds depressing in a way, but it really isn't. We'll get into that, but it's not to say that we'll always have the same problems, but it's to say that there will always be something. There will always be a problem. This isn't saying that you will never be able to solve your problems. It's to say that there will always be something. There will always be some problem, something new at every point in your life. Something. But it's good. It sounds depressing, but it's good. But we'll get into that. Anyway, I want to start off with doing a little exercise with you, which is just, I'd like you to think about just overall, just skim through a lot of the points in your life and just think, what problems have you had? And that doesn't mean spend too long here. I don't want you to think of like every problem that you had at every point. Not at all. I just want you to think of like basically a skim through of like maybe 5 times and think about all the problems that came. Like this year and that year, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 2 years ago. What were your problems? Just grab 1, 2, 3, simple stuff. And I want you to notice, you've never really been in a position in your life at any point where you haven't had a problem. Never. The only time really that you never had a problem, in a way, was when you were a child. But even then, we had some minor issues like, we wanted that toy. How are we going to get it? We wanted to go to that place. How are we going to convince mom and dad? We wanted our bottle. We were just going to scream until they gave it to us. So, we had problems and we had solutions, but, they're not like the biggest problems. I'm talking about different stuff now. We're older. I mean, I don't assume there's any babies watching this. That'd be weird, right? So we're older. So we have different problems than toys, the play place, and our baba. You know what I'm saying? Never thought I'd say baba on this channel. But here I am now. Anyway, that's just a metaphor. That one's not to be serious. That's just a funny little metaphor. But still, no matter what you do, we just have to notice that there's always been a point in our lives with a problem. Like at every point, there's always been a problem of some sort, of some itty bitty sort. And the only issue with this is that we always seem to think about problems, like even though we have them all the time, we always seem to think of them as just an inconvenience, as like an issue, right? Like so they're just a problem. Just what it is, apparently, it's a problem. We have them all the time, though, right? So like we always have problems. We always seem to think of it as problems. But look at everything we've ever achieved over all the time that we've ever lived and had problems. Everything that we've ever achieved has been because of a problem. So like let's say, you needed some money. You got a job and you built up a career, and where are you now? You got a career, you got a job. You needed an education, and you had some homework to do, you had some school to do. You did that homework, you got your grades up, boom, you got an education. You see what I'm saying? The problem creates something. You need to improve your life in any way. You get right after it. You want something, you get it. You need something, you get it. There's a problem and then there's a solution. But we can't get anything without a problem. Think about it, because if we live our lives problemless, then why would we need anything? Because we don't need food. We don't need to go get it. We don't need a job. We don't need to go get it. We don't need a career, so we don't need to build one. We don't need an education, so why do we need to learn anything? So why do we need to do anything? We got no problems. We don't have to do anything. You see what I'm saying? In that universe, nobody would accomplish anything. Everyone would just be sitting there, which is a dull universe, right? Stupid. Think about everything you've ever achieved. It's all because of a problem. And that's just some examples. Just a itty bitty bit. And, sometimes they're bigger and sometimes they're smaller. Like I built my career is a big one. Like I needed to build a career. I built a career. And then there's the small ones like, I wanted this for dinner. I made this. It ranges. But, even then, you accomplished dinner because you had a problem, because you had a craving, and because you needed a dinner. So no matter how big, no matter how small, everything's kind of a problem. If you think about it, it's always caused by some problem. On that, though, doesn't that suggest that, in a way, problems are good, right? Because if we achieve everything because of problems, we can just say, they're the ultimate cause for learning and for growing, for adventure, achieving, and doing everything. If that's the way it is, then why are they bad? They're good. That's good. I mean, sometimes, of course, they'll scale in how bad and good they are on face value. Like if someone dies, then that's pretty bad. That's a bad thing. That's a problem. That's bad. But even then, they're still going. Oh, my dogs are screaming. Sorry if you hear that. But still, even in that, we still have two views to this whole thing. There's the positive and the negative. So no matter how bad or good it is, there's still always going to be a good way to learn from it and a good side to get out of it. So no matter what you do, just like every problem is somewhat good. Every single one of them, they're somewhat good. And, for that, I think problems aren't as much of like a problem, like a face value problem. They don't mean as much of a problem any more than they mean as something to do, something to achieve, something to be. It's like a call to action, right? Because that's exactly what it does. It signals that we need to go do something, that we need to go achieve something. And of course, as I said, it ranges in bad to good, but there's always a positive side. There's always a positive side. So for that matter, come on, problems are good. To a degree. Problems are good. But if that's the way it is, I want to ask you something. Would you ever want to stop achieving things, stop growing, and stop learning, and stop doing things? Would you ever want that? Would you ever really, truly want that? I don't think you would, right? So when you strive for like a problemless future, is that really what you want? Because of course, you'd like a future where you wouldn't have to worry about certain things, money and food and all that stuff. That's something in its own. But would you just want to be sitting around all day and never have a challenge? You just live? You just exist? Is that the kind of life you want? So when we hope for a problemless future, that's kind of what we're wishing for, right? Because we're just asking to do nothing. Furthermore, that future will probably never come, no matter where you get. Because I know we all like to compare ourselves to people who are above and, the rich people, high class and all that. And we think, what could their problems be? What could they have to do that is an issue? And you'd be surprised. People still have issues, no matter how rich, no matter how powerful, no matter how old, no matter how young, it doesn't matter. They all have issues. So when you compare yourself to these people and their lives and you dream of that problemless future, remember, they don't live in a problemless future. They still have problems. They'll never escape it. And you shouldn't even want it in the first place. Because then you lack adventure. So if that's the way it is then what kind of future should we strive for? Because I don't want to tell you to, I don't want you to wish these problems upon you. I hope that I'll still be worrying about money in 50 years. Yeah, okay, that's a bit far. We shouldn't have to worry about those. So, think about the problems that are to be addressed, like the bad ones that are to be addressed. Like I don't got to worry about money. I don't got to worry about a career. I don't got to worry about a place to live. We address those. That's the problems we don't want in our future. And the ones we don't want to wish, like death and financial ruin and all that stuff, we don't want to wish that on our future. But what we do want to wish is for adventure, the good ones. You hope that every single day something will challenge you in some format, that some problem will arise that you can get after. Of course, it won't put anyone in danger, but like, let's say, for example, let's say you get the idea to start a garden, right? Or like the problem is you need vegetables, you need fresh vegetables. And then your solution is a garden. That's the adventure. The problem was that we need some fresh vegetables. We could go get some from the store, but we want fresh ones. So make a garden. That's an adventure. That's the kind of problem we want. Not financial ruin, but lack of garden problems. You see what I mean? So you should strive for a future that's filled with the good problems. The ones like, I'm going to go start a garden so I can get some fresh vegetables. I'm going to go build this thing so I can make my life easier. You know, a lot of people in my family, my uncles and grandfathers specifically, you know, they'll make something. They'll make some device just to make their lives easier. And it's just crazy how that works. Because like I never think about making a device, but they just do it. I think it's something about what they were taught in school. You know, they had a workshop. I didn't. So they're more crafty than I would be. But still, like, it's problems like that where it's like, I gotta go make a device to make my life easier. That's so good. That's so cool. That's an adventure. That's something to do. That's perfect. So don't wish for a future that is bad, but wish for a future that still does have some problems. That still does have some challenges. That's what we want. You're never going to escape them anyway, and you need to accept that. The best way to accept that would just be wish for one. What did I just say? Just be willing to wish for one is what I mean. That's the best way to accept it. And if you can't accept it, that's a recipe for disaster, man. Because if you cannot accept that your life will always have problems to deal with, and if you can't put that positive attitude on, then your reality will shatter, and that's a disaster waiting to happen. So, accept it. Accept that, and just be positive. Be positive. There's two sides to everything. Remember that. Anyway, I just challenge you here. Once again, take a positive view. And my challenge for you today, it's a simple one. You'd be surprised. The challenge for you is just think about your future. Think about all the problems that may arise. And think about what they will teach you and how you will react to them. Just think about that. And then try to be positive. Think about all the problems that will come. And think about how you could be positive. You could be positive to everything. Think about that. And you could learn from it, and you could benefit from it, and you could do everything. Just think about that. Think about your future and what will come next. And then think about being positive. Everything's got those two sides, I'm telling you. I mean, of course, there's some things that have 4 sides, and 6 sides, and 8 sides, but we're not getting too deep. We're just talking about the 2 sides, the negative and the positive. And I want you to be positive about everything here. Because no matter what, you can't escape it. It's your doom. I'm joking. It isn't really a doom if you're positive about it. Anyway, thanks for joining me here. I hope this helps you a ton. Give my challenge a run. This lesson is a goofy one in its own right, because we wouldn't wish for problems. We don't usually do that. We don't wish for issues to arise. But of course, as I said, we're not wishing for the bad ones. We're not wishing for death. We're not wishing for financial ruin. We're not wishing for homelessness and starvation. We're wishing for, like, when I'm old one day, I want to be able to find crafts to make. I want to be able to do things to give my life some adventure. I want to have a garden. I want to have this. I want to have that. Those are the kind of problems I want to have to deal with. That's the kind of problem that we want to have to deal with. And once again, we can't escape, so just accept it and be positive about it and do your best with all your issues. They're no more than just things to do most of the time. Anyway, that's everything. Hope this helps you a ton. Take care, my friend.